Oh, the best laid of plans. I just got done talking about how I like to plant my tomatoes late so that I can avoid potting them up multiple times before transplanting them into the garden. Well, these guys were planted April 1st, and as you can see, they are already getting too big for their britches. This would not be an issue if I were planning on transplanting these within a week, week and a half, but there are some years where I don't get my tomatoes transplanted out until around Memorial Day. Now, I could plant earlier than that. My frost-free date is before then. It's just a matter of finding the time to do it, which I'm sure is something some of you can relate to as well. So today I want to show you what I do when I do have to pot my tomatoes up prior to transplanting. So let's get started. First, let's talk supplies. You need a pot of some sort. I prefer these Anderson pots because A, they're just about the perfect size for tomato transplants, and B, they are specially designed to air prune roots. So what you end up with is a vigorous, more robust root system when they're grown in these pots. Second, you're going to need a potting mix or soil of some sort. I still, for all the mixes I've tried, think that this Pro Mix is the best ready to use, readily available at my local store mix. You can use just about anything though, as long as the pH is balanced and it offers good drainage. I also use little tags to keep my plants straight. So I'll do a tag for each pot and water, and that's all you need. Now, just because it makes this whole process a little easier, I like to dump my potting soil into a large container that I can easily work in and scoop out of. And then I just fill up my pots. Now with these Anderson pots, because they have these big openings, it's easier if you set your pot down on the soil surface to get it started, so you're not losing all of your soil out of the bottom. I'll just put a little bit in there. Next, I want to take one of my transplants out. Now these plants look big, but they are still very tender. They've not been hardened off and they're just babies. So very, very gently want to get in there and get the whole root mass out. I've got a little extra seedling on there. I'm going to get rid of that guy. And then I will typically just pinch the bottom leaves off of that plant. I will drop that down in the pot, and you can see how deep I'm burying these. And that is because these tomatoes will root all along that buried stem portion. And again, you'll get a bigger, more robust root system that way. And then I just fill it up. And one thing I did want to mention, I am not adding fertilizer to these as I am potting them up. And that is because this potting soil that I'm using already has some food in it. You could certainly add a low dosage plant food to your plants when you're potting them if you want to give your tomatoes a little boost. And I would typically just use a fertilizer that's formulated for tomato plants at this time. So that is an option as well. As I mentioned, I will put a tag in each plant so I can keep everything straight. And then I will set all of my plants in this crate. Now, another nice thing about these Anderson pots is how handily they fit right in this black crate. So you can fit 24 plants in a black crate like this. Makes it really handy to transport these. So let's get the rest of these potted up. Now the very last and probably most important step is to water. And I really saturate these guys. And don't worry, I know these look kind of scary and sad and super droopy right now, but they will come out of it, I promise. Now, just as an example, I wanted to show you these guys. These were potted up and watered last night and looked even worse, if possible, than the last batch I just showed you. These sat overnight in the greenhouse, and you can see how much they are already perking up and starting to look really good. And that's it. Hopefully I can start getting these transplanted in a couple of weeks, and we'll really kick off tomato season. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.